All right, while we're letting everybody settle down here, we've got a little bit of interactivity. We built some interactivity and we want you guys to be engaged. This is actually a pretty small session, so hopefully we can have some Q&A going at the end. If you would take out your mobile device and go to aka.ms/polls or any device you've got, you guys can participate live and see how the room is voting. So we'd love to know how your feet are holding up. You've almost made it through the gauntlet. It's Thursday afternoon. It's kind of a hard time for a session, so we're really glad you guys joined us. All right, let's get some votes going in there.
People are saving
people
their
coming in.
For Universal.
Good. Hope everybody's going to Universal tonight. It'll be super fun.
Someone decided they were just going to sit where they were, stay in the same room, and just whatever sessions flowed. That's the session they would watch.
If anybody says less than 10,000, they've been hanging out by the pool, I think. Okay, so keep your device with you. We're going to do this a couple times on a little bit more, more serious content. So as I said, Deb and I, my colleague Deb Arbini, we both work in the Teams product group. We work on a customer engagement engineering team. So we're lucky enough to get to work with customers each and every day. Really focus not so much on the feature side, but on the end-to-end experience side. So how are customers deploying, rolling out, and helping drive adoption within their organization across Skype and Teams? So of course, a year ago at Ignite, when we announced our intent to build the Skype functionality into Teams, there really wasn't a better group at Microsoft to put their brainpower together and figure out how are we going to help customers that have deeply adopted in Skype, because that was our UC vision for years. How are we going to help customers really manage this change at their organization? And so today, we're going to spend time talking about your organization and your end users and their experiences. So I'm going to pause. If there's anybody here who's expecting a super deep technical dissection of the modes or the coexistence or the federation story, this isn't that session. But it's going to be fun. So these were, if you've been here all week, can we just do a quick show of hands? So this was kind of a set of 3 sessions that we designed together, starting over on the far left. Who attended that session? It was early in the week. Kind of we told the end-to-end story, great. And then yesterday we did a 75-minute technical deep dive where you did get all the details of the coexistence. Great. So a lot of people in the room have, you'll see some familiar themes. As I said, today we're really just going to spend this 75 minutes focused on, all right, how do we think about our organization and all of our users, and how, based on our culture, where our users are at today, how do we help them manage this change in a way that makes this not a cost change initiative, but really a transition that opens up a bunch of additional great experiences and value for your organization. You're not in the wrong session. And don't look under your chair. This isn't Oprah. It's not Ellen. There's no keys under there. This is my dream car. I don't know if you can see. This is an Alfa Romeo Stelvio. This is the mom car that the secret Italian race car driver in me wants to drive. Someday I will. Not yet. But what I really love about Alfa Romeo is they have this amazing ad on running right now. And at the end of the ad, they say, Alfa Romeo, the perfect balance of engineering and emotion. So this week you've heard a lot about the incredible engineering that has gone into Teams and all the amazing features, functions, scenarios, extensibility, integration with O365. You've heard a lot about that. We want to make sure we connect that to your organization in a way that really is connected in a human way and lights up experiences. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. So if you sat, just a quick review, if you sat in either of the 2 sessions, you've seen this. This is a framework we custom designed to help customers kind of think about, approach, plan, and execute their transition from Skype to Teams. The nice thing is it's not rocket science. It's tested, tried. We've been working with customers for the last year around some of these concepts. Many of you and your organizations in this room have likely informed this framework, because we didn't create it in a conference room. We actually designed it and then went out and stress tested it with customers and brought back lots of information to kind of fill out the content that was really going to be in here. So today, this is the piece we're focusing on. And you'll hear some highlights and attributes of the other steps, but we're really going to go deep in how do you drive user acceptance? How do you have your users in a really great place, both while you're evaluating teams, maybe while you're running them in a coexistence model side by side, which we know can be confusing if you don't put some thought into that, and then eventually, how do you drive your users over to teams? So I don't know, for anyone who was in that first session, you heard we had a customer guest up on stage, ICA. They're a retail grocery chain out of Sweden. And they told the story, I just love this. They basically said, our users chose to move. They didn't migrate, technically, a single user. They rolled out teams in their organization in such a way that their users chose, they flocked to it. And then shutting down Skype is really just kind of it's a line in their project plan that they'll do kind of here as they finish up all their activities. That's what we wish for all our Skype customers. You're doing it in your terms, in your timeline, in a way that's right for your organization and your users. And we've built capabilities in the product and enablement around the product, resources like this, to help you do that. So one more poll. Bring up your phone, aka.ms/polls. So this is a real question. So think about your organization and the way you typically drive change, people change. We're not talking about IT change here. We're talking about people and organizational change. On average, when you guys have a big change that you're trying to drive, what approach? So a pull approach, you're looking for your users you want the business to ask for the change, and you enable it. You do a push. That's typically where IT is kind of driving the strategy and pushing out the tools and applications out to the users. Is it a mix of those two, which is the most common, as we're seeing here in the room? Or do you just toss it over the fence and hope for the best? I hope there's not too many people that do that. I hope for those of you that chose that last option, by the time you leave the room, we'll convince you that that's not typically a good idea. We know, we do it anyway. No. Okay, so let's run through this real quick. These are our objectives and takeaways. So we really want to share with you real-world learnings. So we are going to talk about the framework. We're going to talk about some change management fundamentals, because we think they're important. But more than anything, we're going to talk about real-world examples. We're going to pepper those in, and then we're thrilled to have a real customer, Charlie Krolak from Owens, Illinois, who's actually going to come up on stage in a little bit, and we're going to talk through how his organization. So Owens, Illinois participated in an early adopter upgrade program that we ran for the last 9 months. And so they're out on the bleeding edge of helping their organization get from Skype to Teams. They were deeply adopted on Skype. And they're going to share kind of some of the good, bad, ugly, and where they're at today, and what they would do differently if they were all of you. All right, again, the most important thing we really want you to leave here today is how you choose to manage this change could easily be your biggest success factor. It really is about making this easy, not disruptive on your end users or your business, and that's really what we're going to chat about today. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Deb, who's going to walk through some of the framework in detail and some of the change management fundamentals. Deb?
Great. Thanks, Sarah. So this really is for everyone who voted that they do a push strategy, or that you keep your fingers crossed, or somewhere in between. And for those of you, I did a 20-minute best practices session on Monday. Anyone attend that? A couple of people. And I know there was a much larger crowd than expected, so you may hear some of the overlap. I'll go deeper, but you may hear some of those repeated today. So what I want to start with are some considerations on how do we think about behavior change. Really, what do we know for sure, right? Well, the first thing we know is that people are human. And if anyone in this room has a toddler, has been around a toddler, or has been a toddler yourself, you know the first two words that you learn are no and why, right? You tell someone to do something, nope, nope, no, no, no. Or why? Why do I have to do that? I don't want to, why? Why do I have to go to bed, right? So from when we are basically born, we're conditioned to push back on change. And that is just a human ingrained behavior our brains are developed to keep us alive. And the way our brains keep us alive is by stability. So as soon as you introduce some sort of change or something that's not familiar to someone, your immediate instinct is to push back. So we have to understand that people aren't going to automatically just, oh, you have something new, great, I'm just going to go over here and change the way I work. It doesn't really work that way. And that's really proven by the shadow IT, right? Especially if you push someone to change, they'll probably just do something completely different just for the fact that you told them they needed to do something, right? So shadow IT, we've all heard that term. Every time I check the statistics, the number goes up and up and up, and now it's at 80% of users say for a UC product, I go find my own tool. And I've had IT pros in the past say that's not true. They don't do that. And I will say, yeah, that's probably not true for email. No one's going to go find their own email solution. But when it comes to communication and collaboration, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of other tools out there that people can pick from, and they do. And there are probably a lot of tools that are on their own personal device that you don't even know about. So we know that shadow IT is a real problem in organizations. Again, another reason, it's in our best interest to really focus on the end user and get them to want to change over. And to that degree, you can't just flip the switch on and hope for the best. Right? So I've had customers in the past that would say, nope, deploy it and they will come, we'll just push it out there, people will figure it out, why wouldn't they want to use it? And I would tell those folks, I said, great, do me a favor, go to your start menu, show me the list of all the Office apps you have on your computer. And they start rattling them off. We have Word, and we have Excel and PowerPoint, we have Access. Great, tell me how you use Access every single day. 99% of them are like, I don't use Access. Why not? It's deployed, right? Deployed and they will come. Why aren't they using it? Right? So we can't just assume because you put something on someone's desktop, they are going to use it. And then really importantly, change is not one size fits all. Right? Everyone learns a different way. You're going to have people, I mean, there's generations, right? From baby boomers to millennials, we've heard all of those terms. So age groups, cultural, the way people learn. I like to read, I like to hear, I like to listen. Everyone learns a different way. So you have to accommodate all of that when you're thinking of how to drive change in your organization. So to all of that, the way you approach change, Sarah touched on this, the way you approach change is either going to accelerate or impede your results. And I will tell you that customers who say, I don't need to drive change, we go back and say, you're going to do it either now, or you're either going to do it now or you're going to do it later. And if you do it later, it's going to be harder because people already have a sour taste in their mouth about the product, right? You never get a second chance to make a first impression. We're all familiar with that phrase. So it's really in your best interest to focus a little more attention up on front. And if you do that, as Sarah mentioned, customers are finding people are just flocking to Teams. With a little bit of work, you're going to see them come to you. You're not going to have to go to your end users. And then it's really important not to wait. You saw in our framework, technical and readiness tracks were parallel work streams. It's really important to not wait until your product is deployed to start testing the waters for how you're going to go drive awareness and training for your users. You do them together so that you're planning those activities in parallel. And when you run a pilot, you're piloting not just the technical pieces, you're piloting, is your training working for users? Is your help desk able to answer those calls? Are you really ready for a broader rollout? And then just like you have the laggards and early adopters and the different generations, within an organization you have different roles, right? So you need to understand what is the value to the person in HR or the person that's working in the warehouse. What's the value to that person that's going to get them to want to move to Teams and start using Teams? And then finally, this kind of goes back to a point I was making earlier, is don't wait until you're ready to upgrade. I will tell you that everyone now, I mean, the word's been out for well over a year that we're building capabilities of Skype into Teams. End users have heard about it already, right? So rumors are starting. If you haven't already communicated, chances are they're forming their own opinion about what the organization is working on. And when people form their own opinion and rumors, they may start looking at other products because they're thinking, well, I don't know where they're going. They're being secretive about this, so I might as well just go do my own thing. So the way that I think about change, anyone familiar with ProSci in the room? couple of people. So ProSci is a change, all they do is change management. It's a tried and true, they're a change management research company. They certify people in doing change management. Sarah and I are both certified in that. And they have a particular process. And it's not for technology, it's any change. It's getting people to change from A to B. In the past, their change strategy looked like the top left corner of the slide. It was, here's your current state, here's your future state, and then here's how you get from point A to point B. That worked really well when you think about technologies 5, 10 years ago, where you were on-prem and you deployed a product. Great, you left it alone for 3 or 5 years. Maybe you do some CUs throughout that period of time, but then the next major update doesn't come for 5 or 7 years later. That doesn't work with Teams. Anyone who's been following the roadmap for Teams know that every couple of weeks or months, we're launching new features. So whether it's Teams or M365, those products are going to continue to innovate and iterate and continue to develop and grow. So your future state, that green box of what was that solid future state for 5 or 7 years, that's gone, right? This change now becomes iterative. So your end state is just a temporary point in time. So it's really important to think about, as you're thinking about your launch over to Teams, to also focus on how can we continue that change ongoing. And that's not just end user readiness, that's also your technical readiness, right? It's important to have an operational plan that's going to drive that change in an iterative way. And again, if you get your users on board now, they're going to be coming to you, and I've had customers say this, they're asking, well, when can I get access to this feature? When's recording coming? When's this coming? Now they want it so bad that the company's not needing to pull them in anymore, the end users are going to them, and it's going to make that iterative change that much easier as the product continues to develop. So a question for you, if you have your phones or devices out again, how long do you think it actually takes a person to change their behavior and create that new way of working or that new habit? So let's give a second here. People got a lot saying 6 months. Oh, it's kind of all over the board here. At least no one's saying immediate, that's a good thing. 1 year? Wow, it's really impressive. So research studies, if you looked back probably 3 or 5 years ago, research studies would say it takes 21 days, right? We've all heard the 21 days to create a new habit. That's good if it's a really tiny change that someone's trying to make. New studies are saying anywhere from 2 months for a basic change, 6 months to a year if it's something major. So I love that you're all in that same boat. So again, deploy it and they will come, just give them one little piece of training and walk away. That doesn't work, right? To really create that habit is going to take time and results, and I know that for data-driven people, it's testing their patience to say, where are the results? Why am I not seeing those active users? Why am I not seeing this continue month over month? Because you really need to nurture your users and make sure that they're following along and they're not breaking that old habit and going back to their old ways of working. So thank you. I'm glad actually for the most part, between 2 months and a year is where we're all pretty much landing. All right, so that was some of the kind of what do we know for sure, right? We know all these things are out there. So what are some considerations as you start thinking about how to formulate your user readiness and transition plan in moving from Skype to Teams? So the first thing you want to consider is how many other changes are happening. And don't just think technical, right? Everyone has their change capacity of, okay, that's too much change, and then they shut down. So you really want to start thinking about how much change is happening. I worked with a customer who they were not only moving to a new product, the product was still Skype, but what they decided to do is combine all these changes at once. So end users went home on a Friday. They were physically moving to a new office. So Monday morning, people show up, and their office is packed in a little box. They, in that same weekend, upgraded to Windows 10, moved to Office 365, got rid of the phone system and plugged in headsets to their computers, and didn't realize that most people hadn't even logged into Skype for Business. So now you're giving them a VoIP phone that people have no idea what to do with because you pick it up and there's nothing unless you log into your phone. And it was chaos. I mean, I was on site and I was like hiding my head like, nope, I'm not part of this project. I don't know what you're doing. So really think about how much change are you really pushing on folks. I know it makes sense in your brain to say, well, let's consolidate, right? We save time, we save money, we save resources by doing it all at once. but think about the impact to your users. And one of the things, if you're thinking, well, we can't, right? These are just changes, and they all have to happen. They're all going, and we can't change our cycles. Thinking of an umbrella theme. So we had a customer not too long ago, and their theme was Innovate 2020, right? By the year 2020, they want to be all in the cloud, all online. They want everyone to be working in this modern workplace environment. So users, as they're rolling out these little projects of, okay, let's get rid of your desk phones and move to headsets, as we go to online, as we launch teams, and as we launch team, collaboration workspaces within those teams, users don't see it as, oh, this is another change. Oh, this is another change. They see it as part of this bigger umbrella, right? And then they're like, okay, well, that's not so bad. It's just another piece of the puzzle that's coming together. So if you do have a lot of changes going on at once, consider coming up with a theme and making it a little bit more enticing for users, where they're not going to see it as multiple little changes. They just see it as part of a bigger change. And then very often we get asked from customers, where should I start? My users are going from Skype to Teams. Do I just turn on IM and meetings? Do I go calling? Do I go Teams and collab? Where is my starting point, right? And it doesn't matter, right? I titled the slide, you can get there from here. Every customer is different, and when Charlie comes up in a little bit, we can ask him, like, where did his organization start? What features and functionality did he enable up front? But a good place to assess is thinking of your organizational culture. How are users feeling about Skype for Business? What features are they using in Skype for Business today? Take a look at your usage data. Survey your users. Ask them how they work. Think of use cases, right? Try to map all of that to the functionality in Teams, and think about where is a good place to start. I think it'll also depend, are you looking to make a hard cutover? Like if you're saying, look, we only have 30 days, we're gonna move from point A to point B, we wanna get from Skype to Teams, maybe IM and meetings is a good place to start because it's kind of that apples to apples. If you're thinking, we're gonna be running them side by side for a long period of time, maybe you don't wanna confuse people by having 2 IM tools and 2 meetings tools. So maybe you just turn on Teams and collab. There's no one right answer. Think about your bigger strategy and what will be the right path for your organization. And this one, so this slide, the title there is there for a purpose. I worked with a customer who I knew he had identical twin girls, and he was very adamant of saying, email with a link to training, everyone gets the same training, everyone gets the same message. And I said, well, that's easy for you to say. I'm like, you have identical twin girls. And I said, so they eat the same thing, they dress the same way, they love the same sports, and they play the same sports, they love the same subjects in school. And he's like, oh God, no. He's like, they are as different as night and day. And I said, wait a minute, so you're telling me that 2 people who have the exact same DNA have different habits and different personalities and like different things, but you're trying to do a one-size-fits-all to a 10,000 person organization, right? And that's kind of where it hit. I'm like, oh, yeah, people aren't all the same. So understand, who are your innovators? Who are those early adopters that maybe you can come on board with you early and become champions? Who are your laggards? Honestly, I like to focus on the laggards because those are the people that you're going to have a much harder time making that transition over. So find out, who are those people that are slow to adopt? And when I think about that and customers like, well, how do I know? How do I know who those people are? I ask them, what was your last big rollout? Doesn't have to be technology. What was your last big change? Who are those people? And chances are every organization knows who are those people that were the people complaining and stomping their feet and calling your help desk. Those are your laggards. Those are the people you want to focus on. So typically you can come up with a list or at least a group of people that are your champions and that are your kind of laggards, the people that like to wait until everything else has changed before they come over.
I just, sorry to interrupt you, Deb, but I've had multiple instances, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this, but laggards can often be your biggest allies, right? They're begging out for attention, they want help, and oftentimes if you give them that, if you give a little bit of extra cycles and focus and really understand where is that resistance coming from, you can flip them to be some of your biggest champs. And when other peers see them coming on board, that can be very powerful. So you've kind of got a little bit of a multiplier factor. So don't assume your laggards, the message is not ring fence them and just wait till the end. Really try and understand who those folks are and where's the resistance coming from.
Yep. And then once you say, okay, let's say everyone in our organization bought in, right? Everyone, they're bought into Teams. What is their capacity to change on their own? Does your organization require some hand-holding? You know, are they kind of self-learners? Can you just post a video on your intranet site and they'll go grab it? So it's understanding, and these two things, the innovators and laggards and then the change capacity, that's your awareness and your training, right? Because if you have laggards, you're going to have to sell them a little bit more on the value, right? So that's where you want to focus on your awareness campaigns. And for the change competency or change capacity, that's where you want to use that to help define how much training and support do you really need to put in place for those users. All right, so another poll here. On average, and you can vote once on each top line and bottom line, what percentage of users do you think make up a typical organization or within your own organization? Like maybe vote based on your own organization.
Kind of covered up, but they don't have to equal 100.
Yeah, they don't have to equal 100. Yeah, sorry, I can't get rid of that little thing in the corner. Wow, wow, there's some people out there that have 75% early adopters. That's awesome. And some people have 75% laggards. So, yeah, so you can see it's a little bit all over the map, right? Every organization's a little bit different.
Wow, those are a lot of laggards.
There are. See,
I want to hear some of the industries you guys are in.
You're in the right place. Yeah, and only 3 voted on, or 2, they changed his vote for 75% early adopters. So yeah, in a typical organization, it's about a quarter of each. Right, so organizations, a lot of times I get customers saying, well, nobody wants to change, you know, everyone hates change and they hate technology. Comparatively, research studies have shown that you'll find in any typical organization just as many people who are willing to adopt new technology as you will find that those are going to push back. And then everyone in between can kind of get sold as you go along. So thank you for filling that out. All right, so another consideration when you're thinking about, so you have your laggards, you have your early adopters, you said, okay, well, here's how they react to training and support and what we have to put together. The next layer down that you want to start evaluating is, well, who are these users? Because someone that's working in HR or working in the mailroom has a very different day in the life of what they do for an executive or an executive admin or a road warrior who's out in the field. So when you're working on putting that value messaging together, it's just as important to say, well, who is this user? What is a road warrior, a sales rep? What is a first line worker? What is the value prop for Teams for that persona? What are the use cases that person has for Teams? And a lot of our guidance that we'll share with you later on, I actually have all these questions outlined, so don't worry about jotting them down. There's actually a little workbook you can go and start filling it out of helping you assess putting some of this together. And I actually give a sample of a day in the life of a particular persona and what type of training and what type of devices, all of that is really relevant. But really it's important to look at who your users are within the organization, because this is where you're going to start building your readiness plan and your training plan and your value messaging for that particular group of users. Don't get carried away, right? If you have a 100,000 person organization, you can say, oh my gosh, well, everyone works a little bit differently. I typically say, you know what, pick 2 or 3 top personas, and then everyone else kind of falls into that big bucket. So really focus on, when you think about what Teams is and what Teams can do for your users, who are really those core people, those core groups, or those core scenarios that will benefit the most or have a really targeted use case that can really help skyrocket Teams within your organization. So once you take into consideration all of those things that we just talked about, your laggards, your early adopters, how much change, how do you leverage all of that information to help build your user readiness plan? First and foremost, communicate early. I talked about this earlier. People already know that change is coming. If you haven't let your users know, I guarantee they already know. They've heard, oh, Teams is out there, and what is Teams? And hey, I see this new icon on my desktop. What does that mean about Skype? Which tool should I use when? They're already talking about it. So it's really important to communicate early and communicate often to your users. And make sure you're focusing on the value to your end user. Never ever tell your user, hey, we're moving to Teams because it's going to save us $5 million by getting rid of WhatsApp and Slack and all this other stuff, right? Because they're like, well, you're taking tools away that I use. And never, ever tell your users we're moving to this technology to improve your productivity. Because people are saying, well, I already work 12 hours a day, and now you're telling me I'm not doing enough. Right? So make sure this isn't the value prop for your CEO. This is the value prop to the end user. What's going to get them to want to shift over? And then it's important to match your awareness training and support plans to your personas and to your use cases. Again, this is not, here's an email with a link to training. Right? So make sure you're looking at a variety of ways of communicating. People nowadays have 30,000 unread messages in their inbox. Email, don't just use email. It's still the ubiquitous, it's still the most common way of communicating, but don't let that be the only way that you communicate to users. So leverage a variety of channels for awareness, for training, and for support. So yeah, the help desk, that's where people will call when they have a question, but also make sure that maybe you have a self-help intranet site, you have FAQs, you have places that people can go to leverage some information and to help them get started. And then before you just flip the switch for 10,000, 20,000 users, pilot it first. Take that targeted group, the laggards, great group to target with. I like having a pilot that has some early adopters and some laggards because they can support each other and help each other out. And that is going to then help inform, do you have to make changes to your plan before you push this out to the rest of your organization? So always pilot, and a pilot is not just about technical, right? You do want to pilot the technical. Are we maintaining quality as more people come on board? Right? Is the training resonating with users? Are they having questions? Is usage going up? Gauge user sentiment. Ask a survey after the pilot and make sure that users are okay before you start rolling out to more groups, because that can help inform the path that you take forward. And then champions, right? Both early adopters and laggards can become great champions. Sarah alluded to this earlier. You know, those laggards, yeah, they might be the kind of digging their feet in, but if you can convert them, they will be your biggest advocate. And Microsoft several years ago this was still linked, but they did a research study that said, who are your biggest influencers when driving change in your organization? And every other product within the Office suite came back that it was your IT pro and executive sponsor, except for Link. Because it's the only product, Link, now Skype, now Teams, I'm kind of using them all ubiquitously, it's the only product where you're always going to be working with at least one other person, right? You're not going to send an IM to yourself, right? Maybe you will, I don't know. You know, you're going to get in a meeting by yourself, right? So you're always using those products with at least one other person. So for that product, it came back that it was IT and it was peer champions. So champions can take your organization such a long way and take a lot of that burden off of you in getting users to change over. Because no one wants to feel like they're on an island all by themselves, right? They want to go along with the flow. They want to go along with what their colleagues and peers are doing. And when they start hearing about peer successes, that's going to help them drive it that much further.
Deb, from a pure change management perspective, who's the biggest influencer for an individual? It's your ProSci quiz, their manager, right? Their direct manager.
I didn't know if you were asking me. I was
quizzing you.
I was like, is that a hypothetical question?
But really, this is a mistake I see a lot of customers make. So they have an awesome exec sponsor, right? They've gone right to the top. Their SLT is aligned. They've got their message down, and they land that. But they forget that the frontline manager, so any persons, regardless of where they are in the organization, it's their direct manager that's the most influential, besides peers, in terms of wanting help. So when they hear the message with the value prop that resonates them from their direct manager, that's when you start to get users on board. So don't leave those middle management layers, don't leave those guys out in your comms plan.
Yeah, and Teams is definitely one of those products that's not a do as I say, not as I do, right? You have to lead by example. Right? It's really important that users are going to start picking up, like, okay, well, if you're a departmental manager, you make sure you're hosting your team meetings in Teams. Make sure you're doing any one-on-one chat in Teams. It's really up to you to start forging that road forward. And then it's really critical. So a lot of people are saying, well, how do we get users to really want to go to Teams? If I had to answer this in one sentence, I would say use memes and Giphies. I think I've had entire conversations with my colleagues just trying to find a meme that to have an entire chat back and forth. But focus on those cool little shiny objects, like those cool, fun things that are going to get them to want to move over, things that Skype doesn't have. Right? Everyone's like, well, yeah, Teams, it's easy to use, right? It's a chat tool. We've all been ingrained in chat, whether it's for work or for personal life. I mean, everyone has a cell phone and they're texting each other. I mean, everyone gets that concept. That's not rocket science. But where you can take it to the next level of things that Skype doesn't have today that Teams does, you're going to start seeing like, oh, this is really cool. I didn't know I can do that. And the app mentions, right? Places like that where you can start shining the light on all the greatness that's within Teams, you're going to start seeing that come up. And yesterday we had one of our customers that came on stage. I don't think Nathan is in here. Didn't see him come in. Nathan from Trek, and they actually we were talking about creative ways of using Teams. And one of his teams, they actually said, okay, we can totally get carried away with memes and Giphies and all of that. So they have a channel in one of their teams, and it's called Meme Metropolis. And that's the place when you want to send kudos or happy birthdays or want to go for a drink after work or wherever. Like, that's the channel to do it in. They actually have a channel set up. And it's a fun channel, and it gets people using the tool in a very informal way. So just think about what are those things that we can build in that get people going. And then next, we talked about this earlier. I think almost everyone in this room said, yeah, it's 6 months, it's a year, it's more than a year to get people to really change and ground themselves in this new technology. So you have to nurture that, right? It's just like watering a plant, right? I'm the worst advocate because I have 0 green thumb. Everything dies. But you have to water it. It has to get sunshine, right? You have to nurture it if you want it to continue to thrive. And end user adoption is the same way. You have to continue to support your users, check in with your users, keep an open feedback loop. I think that is so important. Users, they just want their voice to be heard. A lot of times those laggards push back because they feel like, you don't care about me. I'm just a number in your organization. They just want their voices to be heard. So give them a feedback loop. We recommend surveys. We're going to share with you some URLs at the end of this session. And one of those links is an upgrade success kit that has surveys and templates and things that you can use within your own transition plan. So make sure you're gathering information from users, nurturing that, and supporting them, launching new training as you go along, because that's your operational plan that's going to keep that agile change management approach as you go forward. And then I'll close here. Anyone ever hear of the EAST model? No? No one? All right. I actually learned about this probably just a few months ago. And so I always say, like, use your change compass, right? Make your plan go east. And what do I mean by that? Make it easy. Make it easy for people to change, right? So you want to make sure the client's deployed with quality, that it's been tested. You want to focus on the communication channels that are familiar to users. Like, don't come out of left field and they're like, well, they're kind of surprised, or wait, what is this over here? Make it really easy for them to start making the transition. Make it attractive. This is the value prop that we've been talking about. Make it attractive for them to want to start using Teams. Keep it social, right? This is the champions. This is the peers working together. This is leading by example, right? No one wants to feel like they're just left out in the cold. They want to feel like they're part of a community. And Teams is just that. It's that communication. It's the collaboration part that you really want to bring in. And then the final piece, and this to me is the most important one here. We haven't talked about this yet today, which is why I want to get through the other ones and focus here. The last one is make it timely. What you want to do is really consider when you're looking at your timeline for your upgrade or when you're going to be launching to different groups or different use cases. Like at Microsoft, our fiscal year ends June 30th. We probably don't want to be rolling out new technology to our sales folks June 15th. Right? They're focused on closing sales and getting everything in before the end of the year. Maybe right before the holidays and Christmas and New Year's is not the right time to be rolling out, making these big changes. Really think about what are those critical change freezes or other things going on in your organization that may prohibit people that may otherwise want to change to say, I can't do this right now, it's way too much. So really consider the timing of when you're looking to roll things out. So the EAST model, it kind of starts tying everything together of everything we talked about, right? Make it easy, make it attractive for people to want to do it, keep it social and interactive, and then consider the timing. So with that, that was a little about the considerations you want to think about and then how to go start formulating your plan. At this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Sarah, and we'd also like to invite Charlie Krolek from OI to come up on stage and have a quick chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Deb. Hi, Charlie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
Good. All right. Will you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about OI and your role at the organization.
Sure. Well, so here's the disclaimer. Don't leave. No,
Come on. This is the good part.
Yeah. So before I introduce myself and OI, I do have a disclaimer. Most of our experience has been in this early adopters program. So some of our experience, Microsoft has done a great job and already figured some of those complexities out. So stay with us, and it's a great journey. So I don't have any fancy polls like Debbie. So we're just going to go old school and raise your hand. So who here likes beer? Right? Right. Okay. How about from time to time, a nice glass of wine or whiskey or the good stuff, right? Some of you too much, right? Or have
Only
you
during this event.
Right, that's right. Or maybe have you ever used that ketchup bottle where you tip it over and nothing comes out until you hit that one little spot, right? And then it just pours out. So that's who we are. We are the world's largest glass container manufacturer. So we make some of the glass containers for the world's biggest food and beverage brands. We have 27,000 employees spread throughout 23 countries, I think in just shy of 80 manufacturing facilities, and we support 14 different languages. So I am Charlie. I'll touch the mic. I am Charlie Krolek. I lead Global Collaboration Services, which is responsible both for the technical and the adoption of Office 365.
Will you tell us a little about where you guys started? You were Skype Online?
No, we were actually Lotus Notes.
Okay.
Back, that was.
I didn't mean that far back right. Where you started.
So that's a funny story. Yeah, so really the journey begins in 2014 when we did migrate from Lotus Notes and same time to Office 365. Back then, like Outlook was amazing, like blow your mind compared to what we had in Lotus Notes. Skype it took a little bit more time and effort to get our users to adopt. The chat was fine, but the calling and the meetings and all that stuff took some time. We're there now after several years, so we primarily just use Skype for all of our non-face-to-face meetings. I say that, so just to say that our users, this whole collaboration technology, I mean, we're a manufacturing company. It's not second nature to them yet, right? But we have great leaders that have really, truly bought in to collaboration, whether it's across geographies or teams or departments or whatever. But so they understand that technology really enhances our ability to work together. So that's great. We don't take that for granted, that their support. So we still mostly proceed with caution when introducing new tools to the
Your users aren't on the bleeding edge.
Yeah, no, we are definitely not on the bleeding edge.
Tell us a little bit about, so when you guys first heard, I assume roughly around the same time, about a year ago, right? About a year ago now, about Microsoft's intent to build Skype capabilities into Teams and then eventually, move users from the online service into Teams. What was your response, and how did you guys start to think about an approach for how you were going to do this?
Yeah, good question. So my personal response was, woo! So my team had been using Teams really, or exploring it since it was in preview, and we absolutely loved the experience and whatnot. But we were then approached by our Microsoft team end of last year to say, hey, would you consider volunteering for this early adopters program? I immediately said yes, and then had a heart attack when I said, I didn't actually run that by anybody. So I should probably go make sure the organization's okay with doing that. So I did get the okay to move forward, obviously. So yeah, we started to plan our pilot at the beginning of this year, and really tried to focus on, much like Debbie said, we really tried to focus on non-IT groups, or maybe groups that we thought teams could meet a business need, or early adopters. So we did that. We ran some discovery sessions and whatnot to figure out how they were using our current technology, gave them some materials, asked that they go back and share those materials with their teams and teach them the teams, in hopes to really build that champions program. But frankly, I don't know if it's they just loved the tool that much, but they just jumped right in, and I'm not sure they actually trained their teams. They just started using the tool. So the champions program didn't take off necessarily like we had hoped, but man, we got some raving fans in the whole process.
That's really cool. What were some of the, like when you think back, what were some of those initial features in Teams that kind of were sticky with folks?
Right, yeah. Well, Giphies.
Seriously?
I mean, yeah, so that's a funny story. The hate mail that I got when we moved from Lotus Notes and Same Time to Office 360 was those people that they could no longer send Giphies or GIFs in Skype. That we had to keep Same Time up for an extra year and a half just because people wanted to send GIFs back and forth. So obviously GIFs. Frankly, if you look at our statistics now, the people that have really adopted Teams quickly were ones that were using. They found that the SharePoint integration and the files just made life so much simpler for their teams or department. And from my perspective, the meeting experience is far superior. We try to do a lot of video where our teams are geographically dispersed, whether in Europe or Latin America and whatnot. So that's really our ability to build relationships in our team meetings and whatnot. So the video's much improved.
That's cool. That's great. So I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about some of the things you did, which these pictures relate. But before we do that, when you think back about like lessons learned or challenges you had, or if you could go back and do it again, since I imagine a lot of you guys in this room are maybe just starting on this journey, like what are the top couple things that you would tell people to keep an eye on or plan for?
Plan for people that really want the tool. Like once they see it. For us, I almost can't keep up for people trying to pull us faster, much like Debbie's presentation said. So it hasn't been perfect for us, right? So we are on our third approach on trying to roll this out. Some of them technical reasons, because we were in the early adopter program, as far as the side-by-side compatibility and whatnot.
We've been working really hard on the coexistence modes to make, we know, I think originally, sorry to interrupt you, but I'll just share a little bit. I think originally when we thought about how we would engineer this upgrade, originally a year ago or before, we saw more of a lift, kind of a moment in time. Customers would upgrade all their users at once. What we learned super quickly from customers when they understood the vision and kind of saw the here to there is that that's not what most customers want. That's not going to work for most customers, even if they want it. Like logically, that makes sense and it feels a lot cleaner. It just isn't practical for a lot of customers. So immediately we started thinking through, okay, well, what is it going to look like? And Microsoft, we've been living this for the last year and a half. What is it going to look like? How do we really make it so that users and IT doesn't go insane having these two apps in their organization that have a lot of overlapping features? And so hopefully if you saw that session, you saw a lot of innovation there in terms of putting control in your hands of what the user experience is, what they can do in each app when you have them in your environment together, but also some things that can help you accelerate getting to that one, hopefully, kind of virtuous place for your users, so that you were really in that when it was tough to manage.
Right. And frankly, we were just there. We thought, hey, let's just deploy this like we have done all of the other tools for Office 365. We'll just migrate people by function or geography and whatnot, and they'll just, time, but that really wasn't the case. So we took that approach initially took a group of IT people, happened to be our IT leadership team. That's probably not recommended. But, you know, hey, in my mind, hey, they're interface with the business, right? They're not a knock. They're basic users of the technology, and they're not trying to do anything fancy. And frankly, I knew they would give me feedback. So one of those leaders was our CIO, and I may have forgotten to tell his assistant that we moved him to Teams only. And so it may have been that he thought she was ignoring him for an entire day, ignoring his messages for an entire day because I forgot to tell her to open her Teams client. We all worked it out. He loves Teams and loves the whole leadership team loves Teams. But so we worked through that. But definitely through that approach, realized, okay, let's do something different. So I was, Debbie, close your ears. So I said, well, let's just flip the switch, right? The Teams is amazing. Let's just literally flip the switch. They give you a switch in the admin portal. We'll send an email out to 10,000, 12,000 people, and they'll come back the next morning, and we'll be on Teams from Skype. So my change readiness colleagues didn't like that. So we are actually on to our third approach, which, again, because the experience, both laggards and those early adopters have loved the product once they're in it. We're like, hey, how do we get everybody to adopt quickly? So we put a 6-week plan together to introduce the tool and train people all over the globe. So
That's a good segue into, so tell us, especially I love the World Cup story. Tell us about some of the things you guys did.
Yeah, so this is our Medellin, Colombia office, which is one of our bigger offices, not headquarters. And I think when we approached this, we really didn't want to take it from just the mothership, if you will, pushing it down. So this was one of the offices that were like, hey, let's go here and let's introduce the tool, but let's do something different. So we partnered with Microsoft and another vendor called Vitalist, and we put on this like Excite Day. So we went and set up in their cafeteria area and gave demos, half-hour demos throughout the day. Also had games and scavenger hunts. Really just amped up the excitement and tried to engage them in introducing the new tool. Unfortunately, that was the day of their first World Cup match, and they lost. So I was trying to, I couldn't tell if they were excited or sad or whatnot, but it really was a great experience, and frankly, they're one of our biggest fans of the teams.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What other advice? Anything else you want to share with the group? Charlie's going to stay up here with questions, so if you're sitting there with a burning question based on something, we're going to have plenty of time for questions. But anything else you'd like to share?
You know, I would have liked to have Debbie's presentation before we started this journey, because I probably would have avoided some mistakes. No, I mean, I guess there is no perfect approach. One size doesn't fit all, and I think early on we tried to like, hey, how do we get this perfect approach to roll this out? So that slowed us down a little bit. So I guess my advice would be, the tool is great, right? Just introduce it. Your people, you'll start to see that your people organically just move towards it away from Skype. So certainly plan, but don't overplan.
Good. It's really good. All right, stay up here.
Yep, and actually, Sarah, before you do that.
Share where you are today and kind of what does the last mile look for you guys? Look like for you guys?
So we really we haven't communicated a physical end date of Skype to say, hey, on 12/31 we're done, right? So, but we have been very forthright in communicating that we are that Teams is a replacement for Skype, right? So we know, us that have used Teams, how much better the experience is, at least for our users. But that little bit of, okay, Skype's going away, I should look at it. So that was part of that. And it really gives us some flexibility based on the feedback we're getting and the adoption rates on how fast we can, or how fast we should or can move. So we have any given day, somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 Skype users, our activity. So currently we're at about, I just looked this morning, 1,600 Teams users.
Awesome.
Moving fast, frankly. I mean, it's blowing up now. So
Awesome.
yeah, we're right in the midst of our 6-week program. So yeah, like seeing the numbers grow.
So they're very much following, right, the ECA model. They've got that carrot, they're moving users to Teams, letting those experiences kind of build on themselves, letting some excitement and some confidence generate, rather than kind of that unnatural, forced, time-driven. Some companies will end up doing that, whether by choice or it's just how they end up doing it, but really typically users don't respond super well to what can feel like unnatural or forced timelines. So please give your users give your organization that time to really adopt and get to know Teams. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then again, inside the product, we've made it super easy to administer and take those steps when you're ready to actually get those users into Teams only, so they no longer have access to some functionality in Skype. As hopefully you know by now, they can easily continue to join Skype meetings. So if you have external customers, they can continue to use Skype, join meetings. They can have the client on their desktop, no problem. We know a lot of customers will have kind of a post-transitional phase too. So before we turn it over for questions, so if you have questions, if you'd like to start making your way up to the microphone, we're kind of wrapping up here. But we want to just recap and show you a couple resources. You'll have access to these slides. You'll have access to the recording. Get in touch with yourself. Know what your organization is. Know what your users are. Know the kind of change you're going through. What's the right timeline? Are you going to go fast? Are you going to go slow? Are you going to go in phases? What might that look like? We've enabled you with the flexibility to think about that. And right now, you have the timeline. You have time to really figure out how to do this right for your organization. And based on all those answers about kind of what you see in the mirror, what you guys want this transition to be, build your readiness plan. And so what I'd like to show you is a few we have put out on a single site. So here's the link, aka.ms Skype 2 Teams. This is a landing page. You can get into a whole rich set of guidance that's organized. We're iterating on this daily. So hopefully bookmark this site. We're constantly kind of making this better, layering on more resources, templates, downloadable kits, posters, things you can easily customize. We're hopeful you're not having to do a lot from scratch. Sample communication plans, surveys, as Deb said. It's all here for you. I'll just quickly explain Upgrade Basic and Upgrade Pro. Don't read too much into that. We didn't want to put out so much guidance and then have smaller companies or companies with simpler deployments, small user groups, have to really wade through a bunch of guidance to figure out how to do this quickly. So Upgrade Basic, if you're a small business, if you're maybe a large organization that has only deployed IM&P in Skype, or you just want to run really fast and you're willing to kind of take on the risk that evolves and just get everybody moved over, Upgrade Basic whittles down, it distills down into 10 steps. These are the things you need to think about and attaches the exact resource you need. Upgrade Pro is a little bit more of that, assuming you're going to go in phases, assuming you're going to actually run a real project, gives you a project template plan. There's a lot more richness in that guidance. And you can mix and match. These are not hard lines between these. So really recommend you share that site and push it to others in your organization that are going to help you plan this change. This is kind of new. We're actually kind of announcing this at Ignite. We are going to kick off some live webinars. They're designed and hosted by folks in our same organization. We've heard from customers a lot that, hey, you guys have built great asynchronous material. There's great partners out there. There's tons of training as a service solutions now. If you've heard of companies like Brainstorm and Vitalist and Team Fusion, and I know there's lots of others. There's all kinds of ways to deliver training to your users. We've also heard that customers really users value being able to talk to somebody, being able to exchange. And so we're gonna think of this as a little bit of an incubation project, but we're gonna run some live training. So we've got some classes that are just pure Teams. If you just want to start getting users ready to, kind of introduction to Teams, we have a couple classes, but we're also going to do a couple upgrade related. So one for IT pros or change owners that are actually planning the change. We'll walk through some of this guidance, continue to share best practices. And then one for end users who have been using Skype today and you want them using Teams in the future. that's what that make the switch from Skype for Business to Teams is. So join us in one of these. They're free. They'll run all month, a few times a week each session. We'd love to have you join us. All right. Should we switch to questions? Anybody have questions? Just come on up to the mic. I'm going to start, since you're back there, start with the gentleman in the orange.
Yeah, I have a question. Thanks for the presentation, very interesting. There's one thing that I'm missing in it, and not just in your session, but all the discussions about, generally about, that topic, is that the main focus is on the user's adoption, but my experience is that that's less the problem. The problem is more the management adoption. And when I'm talking about management adoption, it's not necessarily the adoption of the tool that you're trying to push, but about all the best practice that you're presenting. Because in the end, it's an investment, and a lot of the management and organization don't want to make that investment. So you might not have an answer in 5 minutes, but if you could share some best practice to try to convince those people to get on board with those best practices, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Do you want to share? I know, no, you don't want to share?
No, well, I'm fortunate enough. Like we began this journey back in 2014, and from then, right? So it really was baby steps for us, right? So as far as nothing was big, we're flipping the switch overnight. Like we said, okay, Office 365, we're on the train, so it's coming, right? And then frankly, we had a leadership change in those 4 years at the top, and he's much more open to collaboration in general. So, I mean, we were very fortunate. So, and I'm not sure everybody has that.
Kind of shared your leadership was a little bit of the driving force.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've had buy-in for years now. So, I'm probably not a great example.
I mean, it's a hard challenge, right? And you're exactly right. It's really important. It speaks a little bit to that frontline manager, right? Everybody has their manager. And so how do you make sure that kind of top down, you've got that same connected stakeholdership? One thing I would say is just really practical guidance is, hopefully somewhere in there you've got some kind of leader. One line of business or somewhere in IT, you've got some kind of executive sponsor that you can get behind. And maybe before you jump to creating your whole plan and thinking about the trickle down, you look across. Like, how are we going to leverage that leader who wants to drive this change and is excited about the technology or what it's going to do for the company? They can see the connection between whatever initiative is important to your company and whatever the technology is, and can start to articulate that. Do a little bit of a mini pilot, just keep it at the SLT, keep it at the leadership level. How do they go around and build some peers and some fellow champions? I think, taking the time to do that, even if it's, 2 to 4 weeks to kind of build that, that gives you more of a nucleus. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, and I kind of think about them just as another targeted user group, honestly, right? When you're still thinking about the value prop of what's in it for them to want to switch the way that their whole team works. And I came up with this when I talk to customers. I call it proactive empathy, right? You're kind of already going to them and saying, look, we know that your team is overworked and you have your processes, and we get that. And it's, again, aligning to what pain they might be going through, and then really then starting to showcase the value that teams can bring, for their team. And to Sarah's point, maybe get a group, that will be willing to pilot. Maybe it's not just end users sporadically that are piloting. Maybe it's a manager and some of their immediate team that will all be part of a pilot together. And alternatively, I've seen organizations where the manager says the manager's not interested. Like, nope, it's kind of a hands-off type of manager. And they actually start driving that push from the top down, the executive sponsor saying, look, the only way our company can be successful is the collective as a whole. So they have kind of the top down. They also have the bottom up, because if end users start using it on their own, they'll drive that bottom up initiative as well. So I think there's I don't know the exact situation that your organization is in, but I think there's maybe a couple of different tactics that
Just 10 more seconds. Make sure you're taking the time to share results up. I think that's the other thing, is that once you get a project started, you're kind of so heads down and driving the project. Have an executive steer co. Have a quick snippet newsletter. Make sure you're taking the little wins, the little breakthroughs that you're having in your pilot, your early adopters, and you're pushing those up so that there's some positive momentum. I think that's a really simple thing that I see a lot of customers not doing. Yeah.
Hi, my question is for you, sir. So you said you had roughly 1,600 users right now?
Currently, yeah.
So are they all using the desktop client, or do you have any that are using only through the portal? Because I'm curious about the experience, because I've got a subset of users that are in a call center. We'd like to migrate everyone into Teams in a migrated fashion, right? We're not going to flip a switch. But my concern is, right now they're using the Skype client through the 365 portal. Is the chat experience the same through the Teams portal versus a desktop client? Because they don't have a desktop. They're locked down. Everything's through the web only.
Got it.
So that is a good question. I don't know the exact metrics, but I will. Our general guidance is, hey, go get this. It's packaged in our software catalog, if you will.
Okay.
Hey, go get this. You will probably enjoy the desktop experience better, just because it's always there.
Yeah.
But I would say at the beginning, the majority were just the portal.
Okay.
And so, that's where they were exposed to it first. At least from my experience, it's the exact same.
I know that's been talked about a lot. I can't speak to your exact question, but what I will say is I know one of the things that we're super kind of communicating a lot about Teams is that the experience is the same: web, desktop, mobile.
And Mac.
And Mac. Right? And we know that's been a pain point for Skype customers in the past.
Yeah.
Between versions and then the different modalities, you end up with a matrixed set of experiences depending on which device and version you're on. And we designed that out of Teams because we knew that was so painful for customers. So I'm hopeful the answer is that the web client, you should have full functionality, but
We'll test it more.
something to validate.
Part two of that, sorry. Do you have, when you're deploying it, are you allowing your users to have the ability to create team sites on their own, or are you locking it down based on departments or groups?
That is a good question. Again, this is part of the journey. We started to allow people to create groups a year or more ago, knowing that it would just enhance their experience, right? So we really took a shift from my team's perspective, from a technical standpoint of instead of blocking it on the front end, how do we keep a fairly clean environment? And so how do we get rid of the stuff that's not being used? So, but that was a mindset shift 18 months, 2 years ago, right? So that didn't freak us out as much as it may some other customers. So yes, we allow them to. That was a long way to say yes.
Do you require them to do like any training or anything, or is it just nope? They log in and
Nope.
they see it and they just explore and based on the training you provided.
Right.
Okay,
It's
thank
not
you.
a bad idea, though. I've seen
heard
customers doing that, right? Like watch this 2-minute video, read this job aid, and then you're kind of off and running. That
That's how we
little
do it.
carrot is not a bad idea.
Do the
I wanna ma-
training and then I see you've done the training, then I give them rights to do it. But to me, it feels like it holds them back because some people may not
Yep.
want to do the training or understand. They feel like they're being restricted.
I worked with a customer who basically said, that they did three things: come attend the training, and it was short, and it was on demand. Come, put in a requisition for your headset. So we're going to give you a headset. This was as they moved to Teams or Skype Voice. And so you're creating that pull because everybody wanted their headset, right? So they came and did it, and they took the training, and boom, they're off and running. In the long run, you're saving yourself a lot of headache.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe.
Charlie, during your journey, how did you monitor usage of how many people were using Teams and which tools did you use and what variables did you look at? And then the second question is for Sarah and Debbie. Are there any best practices around when to make the actual cut and say, yes, at 60% of Teams usage, we make the cut?
So we are just using the built-in tools in the usage in Office 365 reporting.
Okay.
So it's very basic. It gives you basically all of the information you want, different workloads as far as chats and the other stuff as well. And I'm interested to hear that your answer to your question too. But that was your second question. That was really what prevented us from going just down the normal approach. We just didn't have enough Teams users to reduce that complexity of those two environments standing together. So.
I mean, my personal answer is I don't think there's a magic number, and I don't think the way that we have enabled cohorting of users, there really is, until we have a Skype end of life on the service, there really is no forcing factor for an enterprise customer to necessarily have to flip. So, for example, I've got a customer we've worked with, and they got to 80%. They've got 80% of their users on Teams, and they've got a couple of small groups of users who have a legitimate reason to still be on Skype. And so they've moved those 80% into Teams only to make sure they don't fall back just into bad habits. But they can have those small group of users on Skype for Business, and they're probably going to be there for 3 to 6 months still. So there's no forcing factor. There's no magic like you have to move your tenant over. And so I think that flexibility is really, really important. But I would say the qualification is that if you are sensing, if you're hearing from your users that it's confusing, having both of those tools or overlapping tools is confusing, then I would say that's absolutely where I would start to think about a more structured and potentially more aggressive cutover.
Yeah.
We're calling like 90% usage on Teams at migrated because you can still join Skype meetings, that could potentially trigger Skype usage, so don't let that throw you off, right? So we want to see 90 to 95% of users moved into Teams only mode. You've essentially upgraded. And then you can really just focus on those little pockets of users when whatever their requirement is that's keeping them on Skype is met in Teams. And that really shouldn't be very much longer. Certainly by the time we get to Ignite next year, or even in the spring and summertime of next year, there should be nothing uncovered requirements-wise. Yeah.
And I'll just add, so I think part of it is the data of looking at the numbers. But some of our feedback surveys, we actually ask users, as a direct, when we do training, as a direct result of attending this training, or hey, now that you've been using Teams for 3 months or 6 months, yes, Teams will meet all of my communication and collaboration needs. Do you think it's already, ask the users, it's part of the user sentiment as well. And for those people that say no, follow up and ask why, because maybe they're just not aware that Teams can still do all those other things. So I think it's part of looking at their usage, but also talking to the end users. Again, it makes them feel part of the conversation where they won't push back if they get upgraded. Yeah.
Oh.
I think this gentleman was next. Thank you. Hi. So, Charlie, you were saying that you flipped the switch and that may have been a mistake. So what does that mean exactly? Does that mean, did you enable the desktop client for all your users and they had Skype and Teams? Wouldn't you want that until everyone's officially moved over?
Yeah, so I apologize if I was a little confusing there. I wanted to flip the switch. My change readiness crew didn't feel like that was the best approach, and I agree, right? So I wanted to flip the switch literally in 2 days, though. I didn't want to have this go through the process of
You're talking about so just to clarify, because I think he's asking a different question.
Yeah.
When you say flip the switch, you mean move your users into Teams only mode,
yeah.
and there's no Skype.
Teams only mode.
He's asking,
Okay.
I think, what was coexistence.
Oh yeah,
So they no longer would have an option to use Skype.
Right. Well, other than for Skype meetings, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have not done that. Frankly, we get asked literally every day by hundreds of users, hey, flip me over to Teams only, so I don't have to live in.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
So
they're
that's my
enjoying
next
it
question.
so much.
Yeah.
But no, we're totally in coexistence mode until that point where we feel like, okay, there is enough people, enough users in the product that are using it and whatnot, so we don't have some of that weirdness between the two. So that's the default behavior. Right. Two clients living side by side on the user's desktop.
Okay, great. So thank you for clarifying that. So now the second part is in having both clients on the user's desktop. they can use whichever one. Did you find a lot of confusion, like if HR wants to schedule a Skype meeting and not everyone is on board, or schedule a Teams meeting and not everyone's on board with it? Some people are still on Skype. Did you find a lot of confusion there, and how did you deal with that?
So I thought we would, but in the real world, no. No, I mean,
Today
so
we-
it's a link. One says join Skype, one says join Teams
Right.
meeting, and it just, because they have both clients open, it just works, right? So it pops open to whatever platform. If it's a Skype meeting, it pops open into Skype. If it's a Teams meeting, it pops open into Teams. So no, that has not been our experience where users are too confused as far as what.
Okay, great.
I think
Thank you very much.
devices is something, I mean, just really devices. You want to think about your devices that you have deployed. Are they Teams compatible? If you're going to, meetings, it pretty much is. It's friction-free in terms of joining and having clients, but devices is where you'll just, especially if you have meeting rooms with devices in, there's a lot of stuff rolling out, updates, backwards compatibility for some old devices that you may have invested in. So that's something that you probably want to do if you are going to have coexistence. And certainly for, you know, the more freedom you give people, you'll want to double check just that your devices are going to be good in Teams.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
a
we
good-
went through a lot of pain with Skype with that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good.
go
that's a
through
good
that
point.
again.
That really is our biggest thing. That's, I don't want to say holding us back, but that's what we're waiting for the devices to catch up. As far as desktops and in general meetings, it's been great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great. So I just want to be thoughtful of time. We're actually over time. We definitely want to get to your questions.
I can hang out.
We're happy to kind of take them up here.
Yeah, just come on up. We'll just chat more casually,
yeah.
get off the mics. So come
And
on
for
up.
those that, if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for sticking it out. I know it's late in the day and Universal's waiting, so thank you for coming. Yeah, if you do have questions, just come up. We're happy to hang out for a while and answer any questions.
Please
that
fill
you
out
have.
your session evaluation too. We're really trying to advocate for more user adoption, change management sessions at events like this, so we'd appreciate your feedback. Thanks, everybody.